Hey everybody, this is Trey with BlackFalconElectronics.com, and this is the administrative address that I will be posting to my Facebook as well as to my main site, BlackFalconElectronics.com. So in this video, I'm going to be describing several of the projects that I have been working on. I know it's been a long time since a lot of you guys have seen any substantive updates, so I decided to make this video so that you guys can see some of the things that I'm working on and basically what's going on day to day with my projects and the things that I'm building. One of the things that I'm working on is Project Aura, or my automated unmanned reconnaissance airplane. Now, this is a project that I have been dreaming about making years ago, and I finally got to the point where I can start making it. If you guys saw my Facebook post, I believe, I actually posted a video of me actually using it, as well as if you looked at the Project Aura post that I made on the site Black Falcon Electronics. So far that's going good. I had a bit of an issue because the motor that I was actually using, one, was too weak, and two, the motor shaft was slightly bent from, a bunch of crashes because, I'm trying to get used to actually steering this plane. So I know the title of it is for it to be automated, but for right now I'm going to have it controlled. If you look at the videos, which I'll have posted in the description, you guys will actually see that I actually made my own controller and made everything from scratch, the code, the electronic parts and everything. So I have a new motor that's coming in now, as well as foldable propellers. So basically, when the motor is not spinning, the propellers are going to be on like a foldable yoke essentially, and it's going to be closed. But then as the motor spins, the force will have the propellers pop open, and then it'll start spinning in this direction, and then I can go ahead and fly it. Now, I did have a motor that was the correct size and the correct power. However, it had a bent motor shaft, but I actually could feel force on it. So I ordered a new one, and I'll have it within the next week or so. And then I'll be able to do another test to verify, one, that there is force being generated and lift can be generated for an initial test flight. Now, that one that I'm going to be doing in the future will be different in that it won't be me just throwing it. I'm hoping to have a partner to throw it so that I can catch it, or me throw it so they can catch it, just to make sure there isn't any damage, because I would hate to have to spend even more money on yet another motor. Another issue that I was having with Project Aura is that the ESC that I was using was too small. So to try and mitigate the smaller ESC burning out, what I did was limited the amount of power going to the motor to try and compensate, while I tried to figure out the bigger ESC that I had, the bigger electronic speed controller, try to figure out how to get it to work, because for the life of me, it wasn't working. However, about 3 to 5 days ago, I was actually able to finally get it to work. I don't know what happened, probably something with my hookup, how I had it hooked up, or something with the code. One way or the other, it wasn't working, but now I have it working. So once I get the motor and install everything, I can do a test flight and have everything at max capacity, max power, and we'll see what happens with that. Another thing is, on top of the testing phase, for the full implementation on top of that, I'm actually starting to work on seeing how I need to implement the system, because I'm actually going to need several Arduinos communicating together in order to get the flight controller to work. Again, I know that there are commercial options already available. However, I want to make it just to say that, hey, I made my own drone, like from scratch, from code, all built from the ground up organically from grassroots efforts. So again, as easy as it would be for me to just buy something that's already pre-made and fly it, that's one thing, right? But it's another thing to say, like, I built it, I coded it, I tested it, it worked. Now, is it going to be as pretty and look as good as the commercial versions? No, it won't. However, the point is to say that I made it, to actually learn the process of making your own drone. And so far, everything's going good. It's been a long process, but actually doing pretty good, and I'm pretty proud of myself. So the full implementation of Aura will be fully automated. It's going to have a GPS sensor, it's going to have an altimeter, a gyroscope, a data logger, and temperature gauge as well. I'm going to have all that on there. I already figured out the data allocation and figured out what needs to talk to what. It's just a matter of finishing the initial test with everything being controlled by me, and then I'm going to start the testing of getting everything to communicate with each other, testing the hardware, the software, and the integration of the different subsystems and subroutines. And that's going to take a while, but I'm really excited for that development. So stay tuned for it. If you look on my website, you will see where I talk about it. It's actually pinned on the blog, so it's one of the first things that you'll see besides the administrative addresses. So the next system that I'm working on is Project ARCS, which is the Automated Animal Residency Control System. So basically it's like a pet HVAC unit where I have a system that all is from the ground up, all made by me as with all of my projects, that controls the heating, ventilation, the cooling of the enclosure. It also has data recording and sensors to ensure that, all the various parameters such as the humidity is within range. Each one will be different. Each ARC system will be different depending on the needs of the individual animal, as well as different personalization that I decide to implement. So I have different ARCs that I'm making. One that I have is for mice that I am breeding. So that system is in its initial phase. I'm just about done with it. I just need to wait for a couple parts to come in tomorrow, and then I'll be able to finish making the ARCs for the mice, and then I can show you exactly how it works. But basically what it does is it already has in program the default temperature that the mice need to be in, as well as a water sensor. So when the water level gets below a certain point, an alarm goes off, and then that lets me know, hey, I need to put more water in it so that they don't die of thirst. And then while I'm doing that, of course, I know to feed them. So that's preset, that's in code what the parameters are going to be. Now, another ARCs that I'm making is one where the user can determine what the temperature, humidity, and feed time is. Now, in terms of the feed time, that is a preset alarm that lets you know that every 6 days, for example, sound an alarm so that it reminds me to feed the animal. And you can set it depending on the individual animal itself, because some animals need to eat every couple days, some really need to only eat every couple weeks, and it's really customizable for the individual animal that you have. It's not all set in code, and that's going to be like the default ARCs that I make. I only say ARCs and not ARC system because the CS is control system. I don't want to say the automated animal residency control system. So that's why I just say the ARCs, because it already has system at the end. So that's one that I'm making. And another one, this is the grand scale one. This is, Trey in his dream world, thinking what is the best I can do with this system, is to actually make one purely communicates via wireless. So you have the tank itself, and that tank has a radio with all the sensors and whatnot connected like a normal ARCs would be, but you also have a panel that has the ability to control multiple ARCs, and it transmits the signal to each ARCs individually. So on a panel, you say you want, ARCs 1, ARCs 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on to be at specified temperatures, humidities, have different feed times and everything. And then from that panel, you set everything, and then it sends a signal to each individual saying, hey, ARCs 1, this is your default temperature, humidity, and feed time. ARCs 2, temperature, humidity, feed time. And then it's all set from there. And if there are any issues, if the temperatures are out of range or what have you, the ARC system can talk to the ARCs panel so that it can display the information saying, hey, what is wrong with ARCs 1, 2, 3, and so on. So I'm actively working on that because that is very interesting for me. I never thought I would get to this point. I never thought I needed it. But as I evolve with learning how to program, and all of this is self-taught, as I go through this process, I'm like, what can I do? How can I make this process better? So the ARC system is something I just happened to make, but I'm really interested in getting that pushed through. And I know you guys can't see it, but I have my Black Falcon Electronics mission board that is filled with different notes and whatnot that I need to remember, so that as I make this project, that I keep in mind, okay, you need to do this, you need to test this. This is the basic package for an ARC system. Here's the basic package for an ARC's panel. So that is something I'm also working on. One more thing concerning the ARCs is I'm actually making one professionally. So typically when I make systems, I just make it for myself. It doesn't need a whole bunch of bell and whistles, depending on how intricate I decide to make it. But, it looks nice. It's pretty good. But it's not what I would consider professional level, as if I were going to sell it to somebody. So because I like to challenge myself, and it's just the natural process of anyone who, is a business owner, as I am with Black Falcon Electronics, I decided, okay, let's make at least for now, this is the initial implementation of a professional level system. So, make everything look nice, pretty, mitigate the amount of mistakes, and do go out of my way to try and make it look pretty and fancy. So, it's, again, this is the initial implementation, so it's not going to be, top tier automatically. But as I get better and more used to developing these different systems and assembling everything and coding everything and putting in different features, it'll look better and be better. So right now, again, I know you can't see because it's off camera, but I am working on an acrylic tank that will have all the bells and whistles. It'll have an ARC system. I don't know which ARC system to put in. I don't know if it should be ARC system. I just said I wasn't going to say system. I have an ARCs that I'm going to be making for it. I don't know what to make it. Should it be an ARCs panel, or should it be a standalone version where you can customize everything? I don't want it to be preset. So it's either going to be user controlled or have an ARCs panel. I'm still trying to figure out which one I want to make. I'm pretty sure I'm going to lean more with the ARCs panel, since it's just going to be one and done just to test it. But with it being more professional level, you guys will be able to see how it looks, and hopefully it'll look better. It'll definitely look better than some of my initial implementations when I was first working with acrylic and making the acrylic tanks. I can tell you now from the old acrylic tanks that I have, that the ones that I am making nowadays are infinitely better looking compared to before. So the next thing will be blackfalconelectronics.com, the main website that everything is connected to. My Twitter at bfalconflock, my Instagram and Facebook, Black Falcon Electronics. That's the hub where all the information is disseminated, as well as my YouTube channel, of course, Black Falcon Electronics. So with blackfalconelectronics.com, I know I haven't made a lot of updates. I've been doing a lot of work, both professionally away from Black Falcon Electronics, as well as working on all these different projects that I've already told you about. I haven't really made a lot of time to work on the site, but I will be revamping it. I'm already starting the process, but I haven't implemented anything for you guys to see yet. You should start to see some features rolling out within, I would say, about the end of January. I'm definitely going to be doing a full overhaul of some of the pages, such as the site updates page, which hasn't been updated in a while, honestly, because, again, I've had a lot of different things going on, both with Black Falcon Electronics as well as outside of Black Falcon Electronics. So you guys will be seeing some updates. The Project Improver, I only made one post on it, and I'm going to be, going through the site and changing different features. Another thing I'll be changing is the downloads. So, my site is HTTPS protected, so you don't have to worry about, hacker or like a virus being downloaded or anything like that. But I'm going to be redoing the library of files that you guys use when using your different sensors and whatnot, so that it's more detailed, because typically I just put in the default version of what I downloaded. I make sure everything's good to go, and then I give it to you guys. But what I think would be better is if in each, file code that I, make comments on different ways you can use a sensor for, depending on what you're trying to use it for. So that'll be another thing I work on. And those changes, like I said, should be around the end of January. You should be seeing something. And the last thing will be Black Falcon Electronics, the business. Now, the business is already tied to the site, which is tied to all these products that I'm working on. But I like to, they're all together, but I like to separate as far as the topics that I discuss. So I know I have not talked at all about the business itself. And I rather not, because, I would like to wait until I'm actually rolling things out to then talk about it in detail. So for right now, I'll kind of hold off. But at this point, I am close. I am very close to rolling out different products that I'll be selling to you guys at a reasonable rate, reasonable but competitive rates. I'll talk about it more in detail when it gets closer, but just know that the reason why I switched everything from Kite Talks About to Black Falcon Electronics, if you look at the Facebook page, it's because I actually made it a business. So Kite Talks About is no more, the page is no more, the site is no more. It's now Black Falcon Electronics for all my social media. And you guys will be seeing some hopefully really good updates that you guys will like, love, and appreciate down the road. And I should have things ready to sell, I would say by mid-March of 2020. But, crossing fingers and toes, hopefully everything works out, but we'll see when that happens. So that's everything that I have for you guys. Again, this is the administrative address. I'll be posting this on Facebook as well as, of course, on blackfalconelectronics.com on the main site in administrative addresses. And I'll also be posting the links around the interwebs. So thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate you taking the time out to listen to all this, because I know this is really long form. So really appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. Check the main site for all my different social media links and follow all of them. And I will see you guys in the next administrative address. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.